Temple held them under 60 points, and they just did a terrific job guarding the three-point area, which is what they've done all season.
Now you're 8 last night. Brian Sullivan chipped in with 20. Droney, Kalinowski, and Sherapowicz round out the first 5. For Clemson, they protect the goal as well as anyone. McDaniel, 7 blocks last night for the second straight game. Rod Hall, 16 assists, just 2 turnovers so far this year. And Harrison, Blossingame, and Noko round out the first 5 for Clemson. A veteran officiating crew led by Ted Valentine, also Tom O'Neill and Tim Clougherty. And we're set to jump it up. The second semifinal in the nightcap from day 2 of the Charleston Classic. Clemson in the home whites tonight, controlling the opening tip.
And for Clemson, they've just got to be able to execute their offense, utilize their bigs. Had a lot of success in getting Landry Noko some good shots as well.
Quick opening salvo for the freshman, Jaron Blossingame.
And here you're going to see pressure applied on the ball. Rod Hall, one of the best at doing that, to see if they can shake Davidson out of their precise execution of their offense, which was tremendous against Georgia, with the curls around the picks, the back doors, the ability to penetrate and knock down threes.
Here's Damon Brooks, off the mark on his first field goal attempt. And we're going the other way. There's Brad Brownell, ACC's top defense a year ago, but have really struggled on the offensive end. This year, he promises to push tempo to address that offensive shortcoming. A 72-point effort by his Tigers against Temple last night, a good sign of things to come.
Yeah, particularly if they use all their weapons. As I mentioned, career high for Landry Noko inside. He posted up nicely and got the job done. Right now, it looks like they're playing outside in. Mid-range shot, long jump shots, and that's what their offense is all about right now.
And so far, 2 complimentary scores for Clemson are in the books. Harrison with that too.
You see a good job trying to prevent the curl that allows the the Davidson ball handlers to get into the paint, forcing the one-on-one situation.
Left hand. The young man they call Boots has his first 2 of the game.
Well, we told you he plays a lot bigger than 6'7". Obviously, he's called upon to guard most of the team's biggest guys in the middle.
Rod Hall with the teardrop.
Well, right now, Clemson doesn't seem physically challenged. I mean, from the offensive end, they've been able to shoot teardrops, shoot a 3, mid-range jumper, and yet they haven't gone inside for the post-ups, where they have shown some surprising strength.
Brooks goes to work again. They wave off the shot. No, they count it.
You can't allow Damon Brooks to get the ball that easy. Not enough ball pressure. Passer had a free rein into getting the ball inside. Uh-oh, 5 seconds.
Good share of Poets.
You got to pressure the ball to keep the big fella from getting it in there.
Drive and kick. And the 3 from number 3, Brian Sullivan.
On the same side of the ball, on the strong side of the ball, there should never be help from the guys on the wing. They've got to be able to hold their men and stay there.
And KJ McDaniels matches that 3 with a 3 of his own. Hot shooting to start this one. Clemson up 10-5. About 2.5 minutes gone by.
You know, as a player, you're always trained to help out. But this time you got to show some discipline and not help, and also you pressure on the ball.
Number 23 in red, Tom Droney, does the bulk of the ball handling for Davidson. But the ball's not in his hands much. An excellent passing team. He missed on the drive there.
And that's what you want to do with Davidson. You want to make them put it on the floor, try to take you one-on-one. You allow them to pass it, and they will surgically take you apart.
And Josh Smith is going to be called for the offensive foul. Running through the lane, it'll be Davidson basketball. The winner of this contest sets a date in the finals with the UMass Minutemen Sunday night at 9:30 on ESPN2.
Well, you had a chance to see Smith kind of headhunt there, but if Smith were a cutter and that kind of collision occurred, based upon the new rules that you're not allowed to chuck the cutter through, you know, upon whom would that foul have been called? I'd be interested in knowing that.
Inside to Brooks, low post, spins and hits. The bump in the bucket for Boots. Deans of college coaching, celebrating 25 years as the head coach at Davidson. His most memorable run, of course, in the NCAAs came with Steph Curry in 2008 when they made it all the way to the Elite Eight.
Yeah, lost a close one to Kansas. I happened to be there. Steph Curry, they had an opportunity in the one-possession game. But in this particular game, starting to turn out pretty similar to Georgia, where Georgia shot a high percentage, but their turnovers, did them in, and the efficiency that Davidson showed in converting those turnovers, those 16 turnovers into points, was the difference, as well as getting to the free throw line.
Loose ball went out of bounds. It'll be Clemson three-point play. He has an early 5 points. It's 24-15, largest lead of the game for Clemson.
And Gibbs they look like they're going to try to double a little bit here, at least apply some mental pressure.
Gibbs had a breakout night last night. Here's Brooks, quick spin with the left hand.
Again, excellent footwork by Damarcus Brooks. He gets it inside, keeps the defender locked on his body, and drop steps straight to the basket. Doesn't even have to put it on the floor.
Harrison pulls up, knocks it down. Second field goal of the night for Damarcus Harrison, the BYU transfer. Nine minutes gone by, both teams shooting the ball well in the first half.
Davidson really making Clemson work defensively, and vice versa. The Clemson defense is really not giving up anything open. They've had to make shots, and right there, nice job by McAuliffe to make something.
Here's Landry Noko. Filer, tough shot. Brooks controls.
Now with this team on the floor, aren't many guys out here, once again, who can create their own shots with any reasonable accuracy. They've got to rely on moving the ball, getting guys in good position to take shots.
That time he's blocked by Noko. Blocked again. That's a specialty of the Tigers.
On nothing. They continue to dig and they use their hands. You got to be aware of that.
Here's Blossingame. Too strong on the corner three. Sullivan picks it up for Davidson.
Good job right there. Looked like an overplay. Roper gets out of position. A nice back door. I just think that people maybe have in their minds that they play a certain style. When you get out on the floor, they play something differently, and you're surprised. And for a lot of teams, you can be surprised, and by the time you wake up, it's too late.
Brooks kicks. Kalinowski misses the three. Here comes Filer for Clemson.
See, that's what you have to do. You force the lower percentage shot, and you got to rebound. Don't give them a second opportunity. Where's the call? Something had to happen on that one.
Here's Droney.
And something had to happen then. It's either a block or a charge.
The officials have put the whistles away, if not temporarily.
Can't do that. Got to call what you see. Contact on both ends that certainly was not incidental, because they either gave someone an advantage and put the other at a disadvantage. Now that's a foul.
They're going to get that one on Kalinowski.
We'll take a look right here. That is definitely somebody.
Championship set for a 9 p.m. Eastern tip, also on ESPN2. It's going to be UMass against either Clemson or Davidson.
It's interesting to see what kind of execution we get out of a timeout for Clemson. They need to be able to answer.
Harrison, three.
Good ball movement. Making the extra pass. Filer does just that. He had a thought.
5 of 6 from distance for the Clemson Tigers. Something Tigers fans are not accustomed to hearing.
See a lot of backdoor cuts and a lot of replace or fills. Another drop step by Brooks. He'll reach, but he's got that foot behind him again to get him head and shoulders past the bigs, and that's why he plays bigger than you would expect at 6'7". He knows how to utilize his body in the post, and he utilizes his feet very well as well. Extra pass.
Filer alone. No good.
And if you notice, it seems like Davidson will live with that. You know, making the extra pass and leaving some of these guys open. They'll live with that three-point shot against a bigger opponent, thinking that obviously the odds are with them.
Inside, too easy for Damon Brooks. He's in double.
Surprising.
Blossom game off the mark on that free throw. Very highly touted freshman coming in, but suffered a broken leg and had 2 subsequent surgeries. This is his first time back healthy.
Excellent hustle by Harrison. And he was cognizant enough to know that Davidson doesn't quit. They were going after the ball, and he protected it well.
Daniels, hop step. 15 for KJ McDaniels.
And he's let the game come to him now. He's taking his shots within the context of their offense. He's 5 for 5 from the field.
We've yet to hear from number 5, Jordan Barham, who had 18 in their opening round win. That's him with the ball, number 5 in red. 10 on the shot clock.
Davidson has gone small right now for the most part.
Gibbs forced to put it up high on the glass because of the bigs from Clemson. 2-on-1. Blossomgame takes it himself.
Except for Joe Oss, who he's about 6'7", 6'8". You know, there's no one, I guess, taller than 6'4" on this floor for Davidson.
Well, then we talked about the stout defense for the Clemson Tigers, but it's been their offense that's been the story of the night so far. And if they continue on and beat Davidson, it'll be Clemson and UMass.
Defenses break down and you give them open looks, allow them to go back door on you. But right now, Clemson has got them, you know, playing around 60-point games.
We got an offensive foul. It'll be Clemson basketball with 2:32 to go.
And when you see offensive fouls created or caused by Davidson, that means that the defense is starting to throw a monkey wrench into their offense. And now instead of being able to get around them, they're forced to push, they're forced to set screens that are illegal. So you got to give Clemson's defense a lot of credit for drawing those types of offensive fouls.
Daniels hangs and hits, and he has 17.
And he hasn't missed yet.
He had 20 last night. His career high is 21. He's well on track to surpass that. Nice look inside. Droney had it to Kalinowski, who had it blocked and blocked again. And he wants it back. And he gets it back.
Goodness.
Kalinowski comes right back.
Terrific move and explosion by KJ McDaniels, but you got no time to rest on your laurels as Davidson right back at you.
10-point Clemson lead with the ball, coming up on a minute and a half left in the first half. McDaniels has been perfect tonight.
That's a, oh, you. I'm telling you, you can't convince me that those aren't fouls. You see a nice pass there, good block. And then another good block by KJ McDaniel. And down on the other end, Harrison to McDaniel. Terrific job.
Inbounds to Clemson. 5 on the shot clock. Here's Hall. And Ted Valentine says he carried it. A rare turnover for Rod Hall. He only had 2 coming into tonight. That's 2 in 4 games.
You call it if his hand is underneath the ball. And a lot of the kids today, you know, they get it on the side. They're very close to that. And, you know, I fault some of the high school officials for not enforcing it on the high school level, which allows them to believe that they can get away with it. But it still comes down to whether or not his hand was under the ball.
Under a minute to go. Droney off the mark from 3. Up ahead to Harrison. Look out. Added offense from number 21, Damarcus Harrison, 9 in the first half. And it's the largest lead of the game for Clemson, 43-31. Around and out for Kalinowski, who gets his own miss and lays it in. Shot clock is off, 20 seconds left in the half. Clemson has played outstanding basketball on both ends of the floor.
Yeah, they certainly have, and they've been, for the most part, very disciplined on the defensive end. You know, taking away a lot of Davidson's cuts, the backdoor cuts, forcing them to shoot the 3.
Harrison off the mark. Droney's gonna force it up from 3/4 court. And came close.
They push it up the floor, nice fast break. They shoot the 3. And, you know, those 3s can be an avalanche at some point in time. So we're a long way from being over. But I'll tell you what, the difference is Clemson getting really good shots. They shot almost 61% from the field in the first half, and they're +6 rebound. So what they're doing is they're limiting the second chance opportunities of Davidson.
And with that stingy defense from Clemson, if Brad Brownell's club shoots 60+% from the field, they're going to win a lot of ball games in the ACC. Share Poets on the drive. Nice take from the senior out of Sweden.
And I'm really surprised once again how late the help comes. You know, you've got to be able to see that coming, step in, take the lane away, and then get back to your man if you can.
The rare defensive breakdown for the Clemson Tigers.
Well, all too often, guys, particularly big guys today, they're not anticipating where the play is or how it's going to occur. They're just reacting to it, and by that time, it's too late.
Good hustle by the Tigers. Noko controls, but there's 5 on the shot clock.
I don't know why KJ McDaniel gave it up.
Here's Hall. Up.
I guess that's why.
And in.
Boy, KJ McDaniel, the shot creator of all creators on this Clemson team, with 4 seconds left, gave it up to Rod Hall. And I stopped wondering why, as Hall just takes it straight to the cup.
Hall is fearless. Plays with a football mentality, says his coach, the 6'1 junior out of Augusta. Completes the 3-point play. He has 8. And it's 11-point lead for Clemson.
Nice job. That's the good help from Noko. You get there early, and then you can always recover for your man. He anticipated that one nicely. Block here.
Share Poet's aggressive, but he's blocked by McDaniels.
Davidson do a lot of gambling. And once they gamble and they get out of position, the high percentage shots come.
When we talk about Davidson being athletic, Clemson, you'd be hard-pressed to find a more athletic team than Clemson.
Yeah, and you know, Davidson took 2 risks in the front court. In the back court. Took 2 risks, and that turned into a fast break opportunity for Clemson.
Back-to-back 3-point plays for the Tigers, and their lead balloons to 14.
So you don't get behind him, get on the side if you're a Noko. That's why he was called. He's staying behind.
College basketball continues Sunday at 1 Eastern with the Journey to the Tourney matchup. The championship game between the winner of Richmond, North Carolina and Louisville, Fairfield. So, do the math. It could be Roy Williams and Rick Pitino in the finals. The Basketball Hall of Fame championship game Sunday at 1 Eastern on ESPN, also live on Watch ESPN.
An interesting move right there. Bob McKillop and guys are complaining about Noko and how he's guarding in the paint. We got a 5-second call here. And immediately, Brad Brownell gets Noko out and puts Jete in. So that way the referees can forget about it and not pick on his man.
And with the way Noko's playing, Len, that's a drop-off when they have to go to their bench. He's been given solid, if not spectacular, minutes. Blossomgame hangs and hits. 7 points for Blossomgame to go along with 7 rebounds. 2 minutes gone by in the second half.
Boy,
Clemson comes out hot.
They've really turned up the heat defensively. They got a 5-second call, and right now kind of taking Davidson out of their scheme. And they're double teaming Brooks, and this is how you have to play him. The big guy guarding him has to take one space, and you got to double him on the other. Another block.
There's a block, that time by Harrison. Just the specter of McDaniels hanging back there.
Yeah, they've taken Davidson pretty much out of their offense right now.
Rebound number 8 for Jerron Blossomgame.
Give Brad Brownell, you know, brownie points certainly for adjusting his team and taking Davidson right now at the beginning of this half out of their offense. Terrific job of overplaying, of anticipating the cuts, forcing Davidson to do what they don't want to do.
Clemson led by 10 at the half. They've added 6 to that lead. All in and out with the pull-up. Kalinowski corrals it. And Bob McKillop wants to talk it over, try and settle his team down a little on offense. What would you do if you were Bob McKillop coming out of the TO?
Do a lot of thinking right now. Some other things that are going to help us get open looks. So you're bringing Brooks out. There you go. Bring him out. Now the guys are going down. Here's the screen down. Get Brooks open on that.
10 on the shot clock.
But Clemson isn't relenting on that either.
Wide open lane for Damon Brooks, his first 2 of the second half, and he's got a dozen.
And once again, you know, Damon Brooks makes a beautiful move, quick move to the basket. Give him credit. But take a look at Jete. He's standing straight up. He doesn't know where to go. He cannot move laterally if he's standing straight up. When you got a 7-foot frame, you're not going to be able to move quickly unless you get down and play defense in proper defensive stance.
Coming up on 4 minutes gone by in the second half, and it's been virtually all Clemson to this point.
Take a look right here. He doesn't know where to go. He got the fake going to the left. He bites on it, and he's not quick enough standing up straight to get to the left. And even then, you got to find out what's his strong hand. Okay, he handles the ball well with both hands, but take something away. Get on his right hand and say, okay, you're not going right, you're going to go left. And if you beat me left, without any help, more power to you. But at least I know where you're going. You play him straight up like that, you're asking to get beat. There's a double. Good job there by Clemson. Good job by Brooks to dribble out of the double. Got a piece of that.
Sharapo, it's short. And we have our first TV timeout of the second half. Clemson has added to their halftime lead. They're up 14-15. There's a look at your past champions from the Charleston Classic. Colorado, Spencer Dinwiddie and company, winning it a year ago. Clemson won it in its inaugural year in 2008, defeating another team in this year's field, Temple, in the finals. Here's McDaniels. Off the mark, a rare sight.
First miss, and it still had a good chance of going in. As Davidson went back to playing zone. Again, looking to slow down the Clemson attack and force them to kind of explore a little bit.
Sharapowicz. And here's another advantage, Len, of Clemson having a big lead at any point in the game. They can run clock with the best of them.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think they're looking to run now. They don't have to force. You know, they don't have to go one-on-one. They can play with each other, play with discipline on the offensive end.
Bob McKillop looking to be a little more athletic on the floor. Jordan Barham, number 5 in red, checks in. Number 3, Brian Sullivan, will take a breather on the bench. Sullivan's been quiet tonight. He had 20 last night.
Yeah, well, I think Clemson had his number in getting in front of him, getting a hand in his face, challenging the jump shot, and really not allowing him to turn the corner. Something that he had a great deal of success with against Georgia.
Ball inside to McDaniels. Hangs and hits again. Matching his career high with 21.
And they brought 2 other guys to help. You know, not only did his Droney guard him, but he had 2 other guys come over and try to guard. He just elevated above all 3.
If you've never seen KJ McDaniels play basketball before, you're watching one of the most athletic talents in the nation.
Yeah, as I mentioned before, both McDaniels and Brooks, they don't get enough credit. I mean, we got this focus on freshmen, but there's some pretty good basketball players out here that are not freshmen. And you know what? With their experience, their athleticism, you know, we'd like to see them match up. We certainly will have a chance to see KJ McDaniel match up against the Duke guys.
Cherapowicz draws the whistle. Cherapowicz usually a three-point specialist, but he's been struggling from the field. Give him credit for trying to get his game on track by driving to the hole a little bit.
Well, he's trying to take what the defense is giving him. The defense is closing on him hard. The ball fake and putting it on the floor is what you do.
Let's see if Davidson tries to make a little run here now that KJ McDaniels is sitting on the Clemson bench getting a quick breather.
And I would think, again, the defense has to get even tighter. And offensively, if you're not getting a fast break, then you got to be even more patterned to make sure you get a good-looking shot.
The steal by Roper.
Benefited right there for some good D and poor passing. Brad Brownell, offense right in front of him, orchestrating exactly which play he wants run.
Blossom game, deep 3, no good.
I don't think that was the call.
I don't either.
And Brad's got both hands on his hips, kind of shaking his head. I didn't call that.
There's a spot up 3, in and out for Cherapowicz. Coming up on 13 minutes to go. It's been all Clemson out of the locker rooms at halftime. Skip pass, corner 3, knocked it down. Damarcus Harrison has been a surprise contributor on offense. He has 15.
Getting a little chippy right now, and I kind of see why it's happening. I mean, obviously, you know, Davidson getting beat up right here. Take a look, good precision passing, wide open 3. And then on the other end with the block foul, first of all, that was pretty close, as Droney used his right arm to kind of ward off the defender. And then when they got up, he bumped the guy down, and then the Clemson guys looked to retaliate. Officials have to keep an eye on this.
Outside of number 21, Damarcus Harrison, it is all subs on the floor for Brad Brownell.
I mean, it comes this way. If you're beating a team by 20, you don't have to demonstrate, you don't have to show off. And if you're getting beat by 20, you know,
game for the Clemson Tigers. It's ballooned to 20, coming up on 12 and a half to go. Brooks slipped. Here's Filer.
He didn't really slip. He was off balance. He thought he was going to feel contact and spin, and there was no contact.
And now Harrison goes down.
You know, Clemson got smart, but Clemson is playing that curl so well.
Kalinowski. They get the foul on Filer, and Tyler Kalinowski will go to the line.
Take a look at the drive right here. He's moving. Got to be set before the upward motion begins.
Kalinowski, a 6'4", 180-pound junior from out of Overland Park, Kansas. He's got athletes in his bloodlines. His dad was a football player at Purdue. His uncle played professionally in Major League Baseball for the Orioles, and his grandfather played hockey for the Maple Leafs. There's a bad sign with Damon Brooks down and writhing in pain on the floor.
He got hit in a very, very tender spot.
And Bob McKillop is over to check on his star. Things can turn from bad to even worse.
Now watch Damon Brooks. He's being blocked out, but then watch the split right there. Ooh, I think that's a groin issue right there. I think the slip, and there was no contact. It was a slip and a groin issue. He might have strained it.
His team down 22, and the specter of losing their superstar for at least the rest of this game. We won't speculate on an injury, obviously, but the look of concern on the Davidson bench.
Yeah, somebody's got to help him up. I mean, if that is a groin strain, I've suffered those. You can't walk. It is not easy. Yep, I have seen that before.
And that is a horrible sight.
And again, I don't want to speculate, but from where he grabbed to try to help the pain subside, it looked as though, and the way that injury occurred, his legs spread apart on the slip. It looked as though that he had hurt himself there.
And he is clearly frustrated.
No, he's in pain. Frustration is one thing, pain is another, and that's pain. And that injury is painful. See, he's touching the groin.
Yeah. The game will continue with 12-12 to go. Clemson up 22, 59-37. They led it by 10 at the break. They've added 12 points to that lead.
Right now, Davidson trying to play some kind of zone trap. They need to create possessions for themselves.
And Len, what do they do now with their star on the bench?
Oh, they do what they're doing right now. Find another way defensively, create possessions, try to get some fast break opportunities. They're going to have to look to shoot the three. They don't really have a post-up guy in there. And they're going to look to try back doors if Clemson is going to play very aggressively.
Three-pointer by Jordan Roper. Everybody's getting on the act for Clemson.
I'm going to tell you right now, Davidson is no pushover, and if Clemson plays the way they're playing right now, you know, they've been predicted to finish maybe even 11th in the ACC. And I think they're going to ultimately surprise a lot of people.
Blocked out of bounds. It'll stay Clemson basketball. We have a timeout on the floor with 11:25 to go. It's been all Clemson. 62-37. Heading to the finals of the Charleston Classic.
Senior year, you know, you want to finish that one unblemished, unscathed, and get the greatest experience you can out of it. It's the last go-round. Tell you what, when we looked at that the tournament summary of the heroes there, that was 3/5 of the all-tournament team, possibly.
Harrison has his third three-pointer of the night, 18 points. He averaged 8.3 coming in.
And here's where the teaching comes in. Ibrahim Jumbo is getting an earful from Brad Brownell. Why are you fouling? You know, you're up 28 points. No need to foul. That's a push-off right there. I don't know why that wasn't called. Should have been an offensive foul.
Instead, they call it double dribble on the freshman Gibbs.
And that's what happens when you take away offense. Guys get frustrated, and they start using their hands and their arms.
How about this for a dominating performance, Len? Clemson's taken one fewer field goal attempt, and they've made 9 more than Davidson has tonight.
Well, they're shooting over 60%. Wow.
Some surprise offense from Jeté.
They're shooting over 60%, and that's been the story of Davidson all year. That they've just been giving up the high percentage shots, and the only way that they've actually been able to kind of equalize it is being efficient on turnovers, be efficient getting to the line. You look at Jeté, point blank range in front of the basket. You can't allow even a guy with a less sophisticated game like Jeté to get that kind of position. Because you could even score from there.
You might be being too kind.
That's true. I haven't seen you play yet. Got to be sure. You could always pass it back out.
That's right. Another 3, this time by Filer.
Clemson looking like Davidson. The wide open, I don't want to belabor it, but that would be the same thing as if the official got in the way and the ball went out of bounds because the official was in the way. I mean, it's unfortunate, but you got to call it what it is. And that's the same thing. The water on the floor is unfortunate, but that was a travel.
Call traveling violation on Filer.
Well, actually he called palming the ball, which once again, bad habit young kids get into.
It'll be Charlotte and Michigan in the championship game from San Juan, Puerto Rico in the Puerto Rico Classic. 6:30 Eastern on ESPN2. Immediately following that, it'll be what appears to be now the Clemson Tigers taking on the UMass Minutemen from here in Charleston for the Charleston Classic title. Jeté with the rebound.
Good job by Jeté. Couldn't get it cleanly. Ooh, my goodness. Couldn't get it cleanly. He tipped it to himself. And that's what led to that fast break.
Damarcus Harrison doing his best KJ McDaniels impression.
Hey, no question about it. And I'm telling you right now, you know, Davidson, a very well-coached team, very fundamentally sound team. And Clemson is just having their way with them.
Sullivan off the mark. He was falling backwards when he shot it. Seems like Clemson can do no wrong, and Davidson cannot get off the schneid in this second half.
Well, obviously without Damon Brooks, it challenges Davidson tremendously to score. But, you know, Brooks' presence notwithstanding, I think the score would be probably about the same.
Clemson came in averaging just under 67 points. They already have 72, make it 74 with that Jordan Roper jumper. He's got 7. And a bit of good news for Davidson. Damon Brooks is back out on the bench, at least to watch the rest of the game.
Yeah, no, I don't expect him to play.
3-ball corner pocket for Brian Sullivan. Just his 6th point of the game on 2 threes. There's a timeout on the floor with 7:47 to go. And
see, like a knucklehead, I played through the pain instead of sitting out.
Jumbo with a smile on his face off the mark from 3. I don't think anyone could have seen this one coming in the semifinals. A 31-point lead for Clemson over Davidson. Noko the rebound for the Tigers.
Well, again, you talked about the ACC teams that have played Clemson. I mean, Duke played Davidson. Duke blew Davidson out. Virginia pushed
him by
past
13,
him.
yeah.
And now you've got Clemson all representing the ACC.
Noko, that was a mismatch, and he took advantage of it. First 2 of the night for Landry Noko.
And you know what? Clemson has got to work on that now. They've got to be able to perfect that. That would be such a force on the offensive end to have Noko be able to get that kind of position and score to go along with their perimeter shooters and KJ McDaniels.
Kalinowski rushed his shot because of the specter of Noko in his face. Sheriff Poets knocks down the follow-up jumper. Six minutes to go. Hall off the window. Double digits for Rod Hall. That three is off the mark. We've got a foul away from the ball. And we have a timeout on the floor with 5:54 to go. Feels like this whole game has been a highlight show for Clemson.
Certainly has. And the Clemson faithful have made the approximately 4-hour drive from Clemson to Charleston, South Carolina, and they will not leave upset. 66% from the field for the Tigers, 56% from three, and some high-flying highlights from Damarcus Harrison and company. Well, Damarcus Harrison now, he's trying to eclipse his teammate, KJ McDaniels, and trying to get the highlights on. He's 8 of 10 from the field, 20 points. 3 of 4 from beyond the arc, as is KJ McDaniels, who's 8 of 9 and 3 of 4 from beyond the arc. You know, it's just a tremendous showing by both of those guys. And really, when you look at Clemson as a team, you know, they've been playing the kind of basketball that you don't necessarily expect from Clemson. Certainly you expect a solid defense. Davidson shooting 37.5% from the field, 5 of 19 from beyond the arc.